Welcome to Jam Sessions Backstage at Nova Scotia Music Week 2021. I'm Andrew Walsh from the Second Button Podcast and Andrew's Alcove, and with me is a co-host of Jam Sessions,
Darcy Walsh. Hello.
And with us now we have Kids Losing Sleep. Brandishing larger-than-life anthems, Kids Losing Sleep transformed the sensibilities of high-gloss pop into a four-piece rock band dynamic. This is Heartbreak You Can Dance To. After kicking down doors with their self-produced 2019 debut EP, Loves, the band is laser-focused on slating new music that already sees them moving in a new direction. Trading their darker debut aesthetic for hi-fi sheen, the new tracks are sleeker, brighter, and more refined. Finding this new footing, however, has not meant sacrificing the foundations upon which Kids Losing Sleep was built. Mixing the influence of acts such as 1975, the band Camino, and 5 Seconds of Summer with an affinity for synth-driven bangers, the band continues to wield an innate ability to write earworm hooks, enduring memorable melodies, and gut-punching lyrics. As a result, Kids Losing Sleep emerges with songs that create a deep connection with listeners while summoning group sing-alongs, uninhibited indulgence, rock, pop, loud, sad. Call it what you want. A new chapter begins.
So, a lot of our guests that we've been in, well, all of them until you guys, I had time to sit down and actually do a little bit of a deep dive and everything.
That's cool. That's honestly very on well, I don't want to say on brand, but on character for us. Maybe it was flying by the seat of our pants, but making it look like we're not.
I was going to say it seems to fit with everything that I'm aware of already. Anyway, maybe for myself, I was aware of you guys. I gave you a little anecdote before. Your branding is all over the place. People are aware of you. They may, even if they've not heard the songs yet, they definitely are aware that you're on the scene.
Sweet.
So there's a buzz out there, and my good friend Gavin made your latest music video. So
yes, he did.
That was exciting for multiple reasons.
Oh, and that was exciting for multiple reasons. Like that was our first music video that we've done at all, so that was just really exciting for us. And then working with Gavin has been something I've wanted to do for a long time. Gavin was actually my first guitar teacher.
Okay.
So I've known him since I was like 10 or something.
Sure.
And he taught me for a couple years, and then I went on to music school and stuff, and we kind of reconnected over the last couple years when I saw he was doing videos and that kind of thing. So getting to work together on our first video and just for that long-term connection was really cool for me, and for us it was a great experience.
Excellent. So the name of that song again
is We Are a Mess.
So would you like us to add that to the end of this so that the listeners can just continue listening and
why not?
Give it a listen there? Excellent. We can do that for you. Maybe we usually, if we have an individual, we kind of go back and start about how they get introduced to music and started down the path of picking up instruments and whatnot. In your case, where we do have three of you, the band's about 2-3 years old?
On 4 now. Going on 4.
I'm counting pandemic as 1 year.
Fair enough. In which case, yes. Like 2.5, 3. Yeah.
So you had an EP out previously, and now what are you pushing with this single? Is it a full album?
Singles.
Or it's all singles?
Yeah.
And that's part of our new, I keep going back to this with people, is that's part of this new digital landscape medium thing, is that we're not, I'm antiquated with my physical, you release it on this day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to promote it with a tour as soon as it comes out on that date.
And we still are too in a lot of ways. Or like, that's what we like started doing when we even when we first started this band and like our previous projects and whatever, definitely still like operated under that kind of cycle, and like it's hard to mentally kind of get out of that in a lot of ways.
Sure.
But we're just kind of finding more and more that like even with that EP that we did, like we did a bunch of songs because we wanted to have a collection that like kind of showed something and what we were capable of. But at the same time, it burns you out so hard.
Yeah.
And where we do like pretty much everything on the production end ourselves, we can give it a lot harder on one song and get more out of that song doing the singles the way we're doing them right now, I think, or it's working for us right now, I'd say.
That's a really good way to describe it. So it had variations of this conversation, but yeah, absolutely. Like if you're going to put all the effort in now, the lifespan of an album is not what it used to. If you put out an album today, had 5 hit singles off it, and then didn't do anything for 7 years, like a band like Tool does,
13.
nobody would remember.
I'm a big Tool fan.
Waited for that album, but
you would never. Nobody would remember that you were around. You'd be starting from scratch, right?
You're at the start, yeah. So
Yeah.
If you're not doing this singles thing, you drop the EP or the album, and then
what?
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing to keep, but especially because we have to. Can we swear on this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like because we have to actually give a fuck about the algorithms. So you got to keep putting out a single, and then wait till you see the numbers drop. Then you put out the next single, and then because you got to stay at top of mind and stay like at the top of the algorithm. And I guess our hope is that by doing that, delivering high quality consistently over a long time, that those numbers will go up, but also that will give us a little bit of clout to work with another producer or somebody that to work on a full length or another EP.
Yeah, like I think as like listeners and like how we consume the music that we like, we're still all album guys.
Yeah,
100%.
Like if I go to like listen to music, I throw on a record. Like I rarely listen to like playlists or like individual songs and stuff like that. So I think at the end of the day, that's still. And like in our heart of hearts, how we want to create stuff, but we're also just aware of our current environment, and that's just not realistic with where we are, especially right. Like if we had money and time that we don't have, we'd love to make a record. That'd be awesome, but it's not realistic, right?
And I suppose events like this, which are just starting to come back again. Seeing all these tour posters and like concert posters and all the business cards and stickers and everything, that for me, I wouldn't have guessed it, but just being here this week, that I'm not even taking all that home. I mean, that little pile of behind is coming with me, but but really at the end of the day, that's just as meaningful to me as bringing home a stack of CDs and records at this point. Because even though I do still listen to the physical media I listen to is usually stuff that I'm not going to find streaming anyway, because it is an indie band or something, right?
Yeah, some CD of a tiny band or something.
Now, like bands like yourselves would be an example. It's readily available. Like I don't even have to think. I can talk, and something in my house is going to hear me talking and say, "Here's that song you're thinking about." Like it's insane.
And if you can't remember what song it is, you can talk out loud and ask what song has that lyric in it.
Yeah, and
you'll figure it out in 2 minutes. Yeah,
absolutely. So you guys are doing really well with that, obviously, because of what I had already mentioned too. Is that it was apparent that you were out there and around, and it was provided to me without me trying to go out and look for it, right? Like, obviously the algorithms are aware that I've been looking for new music and probably Nova Scotian, if not at least
East Coast or Canadian or whatever,
So, I mean, obviously you would start getting pushed up there a little bit, but there's a little bit more to it than that. Like, it's not all math. Some of it is luck and or talent, right?
It's
always both.
Apex.
Yes,
those two.
So you guys just seem to be right in that sweet spot at the moment. So how has it been being here this week? Like, have you?
Well,
it's been so good.
It's like this is like Christmas for us. Like we've been here every year for the last 5 or 6 years. Like,
sure.
It's one of the big things that we look forward to every year as like just something we get to, because like all our friends and our whole community are all here in one space for the weekend. So especially like coming back from the pandemic, we just played the Seahorse last week or
2 weeks
ago.
Okay.
we sold it out, which was amazing. It was our first show back.
I don't want to cut you off too much, but I personally have something that I think the listeners would be interested in too. So when you played in the Seahorse, I was just there last weekend myself to watch some performances there. So the dance floor area down there, that's kind of sectioned off for anyone that knows the Seahorse, and for anyone that hasn't been to the Seahorse since it's been relocated the last, that was a few years ago now.
Like going on 10 probably soon,
So it's below the marquee now.
Yeah.
The dance floor's kind of sectioned off, but that's pretty much for anyone that's worried about going to a show. It's not jam-packed shoulder-to-shoulder people. No. It's people that are up there to have fun, and they have masks on because they're not allowed to drink on the dance floor. So it's a very safe environment. I was cautiously optimistic last weekend, and I was very surprised, and I was like, wow, this is okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like people were surprisingly like cool with just like sitting down to drink and whatever. Like I thought people were gonna have a harder time with it.
Yeah, because you see it at the like
they seem to.
I saw someone at Canadian Tire telling off people to the point that they had to bring management in to escort them out of the store. But then I'm at the bar and I'm like, well, this is going to be a show because somebody's going to be drunk and they're not going to care. But everyone was cool because they don't want to ruin the vibe.
Yeah.
They want to see the live show more than they want to get drunk.
Yeah, well, I think, especially like for, Seahorse shows and like people who have been like just waiting to get that back are all people who like just had live music in their lives for so long, and they're like, I'm not fucking this up.
Right.
I'm not
whatever
it takes for everybody. Yeah.
For me or everybody else.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to be the one that everybody in Halifax music hates because I fucked this up.
Yeah.
Somehow,
you don't want to lose it, and you don't want to be the guy.
And not that it would go down that way, even if it did.
I want them to hate me on my terms.
Exactly.
That I can very much relate to.
If I'm going down, it's gonna be in fucking flames. Not because I left my mask on my chin.
No, but so that was really cool, and just to like get back to it, and I was just saying like so much as the pandemic was starting to open up again and stuff, was that there was like so many people that I got used to seeing all the time.
Yeah, is that kind of what you were getting to?
I think that is kind of what he was getting at. Yeah, being at shows all the time. So there's just people you get used to being around, and you see them, once or twice a week just because you're out and about. But then as soon as that doesn't happen, you don't have this like connection, or you're just not seeing each other anymore. So being back in a space like this and having pretty much all of those people in one place is just like, it's the best.
And so back to your point. Are you seeing that?
Just that, like getting to play the Seahorse for the first time in 2 years, with it also just being like our home. Like we are there.
It's our favorite place
every weekend. Like
favorite venue in the world.
Yeah, that's where we play in Halifax.
Mm-hmm.
So to come back after 2 years, sell the place out when the last time we played, I probably had half that number.
Sure.
And so that was like I feel like me again, like my true self, and then getting to go out to other shows at the Seahorse and Gus's and like see all our friends' bands getting back to it and seeing how much joy that brings them too.
Mm-hmm.
That's been great, and it's been really like soul feeding. But coming here to Music Week is really the cherry on top of that like really puts the stamp on it, like okay,
shit's happening.
This is back. Like my world is in full swing again.
Yeah, and it doesn't even feel that way. Like, I mean, we're all conditioned to an extent because it's been a couple of years, but it doesn't even feel that weird to look around the hallway and everyone has masks on.
No, honestly,
it's really not.
It's getting to that point where I watch it on TV and I'm like, fuck, they don't have masks.
They don't have masks on. Yeah.
It's uncomfortable watching movies. Like, oh my god, you're too close to that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to get you guys to do a little intro of yourselves with your names so that people know who's... We probably should do that right off the beginning.
It's all good.
I like the mystery.
It wasn't in the bio, you don't get it.
I'm Jarod Gallant.
Gallant?
Yeah, I'm one of the singer-guitar players in the band.
Yeah, and I recognize you from Gavin's video, and your hair is unique enough that I recognized you getting around with a mask on by the hair. So,
right on, that's the idea.
There you go. So back to the branding thing, right? And yourself, then?
My name's Owen Williams. I also sing and play guitar. We kind of co-front together.
You're the guy getting his head shaved.
That was me.
Yeah,
It was a little more significant for me after growing my hair for like 4 years.
Yeah, okay.
But that was me.
They tried to get
Feeling
me to
fresh.
You were not. I see you got your hair all pulled back.
I've had long hair for probably close to 15 years.
And did you start tying it back in a little bun when they start shaving people's heads?
I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Brycen Gunn. I play bass and synth bass and backing vocals.
Okay, cool. So were you guys in other projects before you started playing together, or you have all been?
Pretty much.
These two more so than myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Say that.
well. These guys are both in sick ass heavy bands. He's in Sleep Shaker and he's in Blackmore.
Okay.
And I just moved here from New Brunswick right out of high school like 5 years ago and met these guys. So and then we started doing this. So
Cool.
This has been kind of my main squeeze.
So
forever.
Are you the influence pulling them away from the heavy stuff, or
I try to be, but I think they're walking away from it willingly.
Yeah, it's not pulling away. It's just like
exploring
feeding
other
a different
areas.
side of my creative
Absolutely.
brain.
100%.
I mean, my playlist traditionally is exactly like the schedule here this weekend anyway. So I mean, I completely get it. I don't play, but if I did, I wouldn't be able to stick to a genre. Like,
exactly.
I
Yeah,
have
like,
to have multiple people. I
A
play.
mantra of ours we constantly say is genre death. That there are no genres anymore. It's just,
I like that actually, because I've been thinking about that this weekend. Is that these events just showcase the fact that, like, kind of you guys are saying, the people that you see around. Now you're seeing them around again. When I'm going and I recognize all you guys in bands and stuff now, I'm realizing that, I suspect it, but I'm seeing that the bands are supporting each other, just like they do in any other small community. It's just that Nova Scotia seems to have been compressed through the pandemic to the point that all the Nova Scotia musicians are supporting all the Nova Scotia musicians. And it's just the inevitable next step that now that you're supporting each other, that there's going to be this weird, everybody's touring Nova Scotia. Like bands from Nova Scotia are touring Nova Scotia, meeting other bands, opening for each other, promoting each other. And we don't have, like, the rest of Canada's great. The rest of the world's great. I love my mainstream stuff as much as anyone else. But there really is a vibe, and we keep going back to this here. I think Andrew would agree that there's something happening here where it's going to be a big thing for everyone here. Like, there's an artistic community that's getting a voice, and there's an audience that's here waiting for it. So
big time.
It's really exciting time, and it's really good that you guys are right at that point where anyone that survived the pandemic is reaping the rewards now. If there's an appetite.
There's finally a reason to go forward again and something to look forward to. I think too. You know.
And do you guys have any particular live shows coming up that you'd like to show? We're not sure when these are all going to air. So
not really. We like that Seahorse show that we just did. Everything was kind of leading up towards that for the last little while, and then this. So we're gonna go back when we get home. We're gonna finish a couple like recording projects that we're working on and get a few new ones started and that kind of thing. And then we'll probably be back to playing, in a couple months or whatever. But
so maybe to steer the question a little differently for the people that are listening, this will probably be out, let's say, towards the end of November, early December. But for anyone that hears this, we can add more than one song too. Do you want to add another song besides?
We just put out 2 new singles in the last 4 months or whatever.
Sure.
There's another one called Smile Anyway that we put out in the summer. That was a cool song for us. It was a bit of a departure from stuff we had done before too. So,
So we'll add those on, and people that are listening, if they're interested, what I had referenced earlier, if you guys want more information on them, you're going to see them around. You're going to see the slashes. So maybe you guys could give, just before we fade into the tracks, if you want to give a little explanation of what I'm talking about, so people will identify as easily as I do now.
with our branding and stuff
Yeah,
like
but
that.
the slash is your old fluorescent lights and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
new, like the bars on your business card and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well.
Is it represent? Is it deep or is it just?
Well,
okay, it's stuck out.
It's its own special kind of deep. It's the kind of deep. It's the kind of deep where if you ask me about it, I don't want to try to explain it.
It's like,
but I'm constantly explaining it to myself in my head to make myself feel better.
Deep.
Yeah.
Like I don't. It doesn't go as deep as like there's 4 slashes because there's 4 of us or something like that. But it's like I don't know. I guess having a symbol that represented us with no like words at all was like something that was really important to us from day one. And then it was just a means of finding what that was, which I don't even really remember how we did.
It was weird because we were talking about like emo tropes basically.
Okay.
And the whole like putting slashes on either side of a sentence.
Yeah.
Like, your MSN Messenger name, you know, slashes and weird brackets and squigglies and shit.
I suspected it was something like that actually.
Yeah, you know, when your MSN like personal message would say like "I love you so much," squiggle squiggle star star, and then your friends would be like, "Who's that about?"
Yeah.
So we just kind of took like those like sad boy middle school slashes and took everything out from in between them and just slammed them together.
Cool.
But we deliberately don't like put them on either end of things. Like they don't get split up.
Yeah, they're by themselves.
Yeah. We'll put them at the end of something as like a tag.
Okay, cool, yeah.
But yeah, that's like and when we started out with the lights, they were originally for our first show. they were like they don't have them in here, but like fluorescent like shop lights,
just like glass like bars or whatever.
And so we had stood them up on their end. And Owen built these wooden bases for them so we could take them off the bases when we were touring. We would take the tubes out and put them in a box. We broke them, a few of them.
They were like MacGyvered as shit.
Yeah.
Too.
They caught fire in Hamilton once.
Yeah, this was before
great.
they were like on an angle too. At this point, they were just 2 bars that were on either side of the drum kit. But yeah, they were literally just like these wooden frames with like fluorescent glass bulbs in them, which like, and then for some reason we went on our first tour and we were like, yeah, we're gonna bring these and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Which it was not.
And I had to like turn them on and off with my foot with a power bar. And,
wow.
And through trial and error, figure out what moments in what songs like they felt good to come, like it, you know. So there's times where like one of us would walk over and hit them on and be like, nah, that looks like shit, and then we turn it back on. But yeah, so then we just when we were like, we can't keep fucking hauling fluorescent tubes around.
We broke like 6 of them.
Yeah.
This isn't sustainable.
Yeah.
Sustainable or safe.
Yeah, or safe, yeah.
So then
let alone them almost catching on fire, which did happen.
So then, Jared just ordered some LED tube lights off Amazon. And,
just back at it.
I rigged up a mic stand to be a bracket that they can clip in and out.
Oh, cool, yeah.
So it's still pretty MacGyver.
It's really, if you get up close, it's still DIY as fuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can't tell. And it's working, so I mean the effort.
Just
the
4
effort
lightsabers in a box, that's all.
I was going to say, I did want to take a moment to recognize your fucking 6 Star Wars tattoo. I'm also wearing my Star Wars hoodie today.
Beauty.
We're all like fucking huge fans. Oh, that's so dope.
That's a little Death Star luggage bag.
Yeah, no, like the 4. That's like. It's like a big thing for our band is just like the fact that like we just do a shit ton of stuff together outside our band. Like we are just like 4 best friends, and that's what we do all the time. And like other than our music, Star Wars is the thing that we like bond over the hardest.
Star Wars is the thing we all love the most. That isn't music. Yeah, it's the clear number 2 for all 4 of us.
My music room has my guitar wall and then has 2 Star Wars walls.
Okay. Our language.
Yeah, it's second and third place.
We were in the conference yesterday, and they were like, "Yeah, you gotta go after brands that you really connect with and stuff." And I was like, "Well, we're fucked."
Yes.
Like, let's call Disney.
Let's get at Disney.
Get a Star Wars deal.
I can't do that.
They give that up easy.
Yeah. No, but there is, I mean, like, I was, like, literally thinking about that while they were talking about it, but there is still, like, room for that, because the fan base is so huge, and there's so many, like, content creators, like Star Wars Theory, or, like, or Den of Nerds, or any of those, like, YouTube guys who are just fans who have made a niche for their own, like, content and creativity that's just based off this other huge thing. Yeah. So, like, as far as using, like, angles to reach other, like, people that we relate to on a personal level, hitting that, like, fan base content creator side of things is totally doable.
We're just, like, really into, like, nerdy shit, like some nerd culture. Like we love our Marvel, like we love
huge Marvel guys. I'm a huge anime nerd too. And
I just feel like all that happened here.
Yeah,
you guys wanted an interview. You talked to Gavin. Gavin said these are things that Darcy and Andrew like.
Okay, yeah.
These are your talking points.
Literally, we ran into Gavin in the hall yesterday, and he was like, "Yo, what's up, boys? Nice to see you." And he was like, "Fucking, my buddy's doing this podcast. Would you guys want to do it?" And we were like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Cool, I'll let him know. See you later."
I still haven't even seen that guy yet. I still haven't laid eyes on Gavin.
That's Gavin's style. He's floating around out here now somewhere too.
He doesn't admire that guy.
So
we're gonna wrap it up. So
for sure.
Where can we find you guys online?
You can find us on the socials.
All the things.
On Instagram is our kind of our main spot. But we're on Facebook as well. You can find our music on Spotify and our website, kidslosingsleep.com.
Our handle is Kids Losing Sleep.
Everywhere.
Just everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's part of what makes finding us, like, easy. How you might have heard us. If you hear a band, you just look us up and you'll find us. No bullshit on our handle.
We came down here with business cards with no contact information.
Yeah,
it's just our name.
It's easy.
Yeah, like it says the band name on it. If the first thing they're gonna do is look it up. Yeah, so you can just look it up and you'll find us.
Yeah, it's very.
Although the first thing that comes up in your Google search
a lot of
bar
articles.
might be kids losing weight.
So this has been Jam Sessions with Kids Losing Weight.
All right, guys, thanks for coming out.
Oh, thanks for having us. We love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, this is a good time.
We are a mess. If I let you my head. I'm just staring at the ceiling. Threw a couple back instead of sleeping. Is it me? Is the room spinning? Can I turn it off? Don't know where I am. Hear my memory as it's leaving. You're a little lost, it tends to happen when you're searching for that feeling. Looks like another day I'm staying in bed. Never felt so unappealing. You're a little lost, it tends to happen. Still just searching for that feeling. I just need some sleep. Been drunk every